President von der Leyen, it's great to have you on CNBC. Thank you for joining us. I'd just like to get your sense of where we are today in the conversation between the United States and Europe, and I'm talking about green subsidies.
So first of all, it is absolutely positive that the United States put forward the Inflation Reduction Act, which is a massive investment in the green transformation. That's good. Now it's important that we keep the level playing field for our clean tech companies. And therefore, we are in negotiations with the White House, the United States, what electric vehicles are concerned. I'm confident we find a solution. For us, the task now is to match the subsidies of the United States, also in the European Union, because we should not forget, we all need the clean tech sector in the United States, in the European Union. The problem for us is more the hidden subsidies of China as a competitor for the clean tech industry.
And in Europe, for example, are you concerned that we're going to see countries that can afford to do it taking a greater slice of those clean energy companies? I'm talking about Germany versus Spain.
Yeah, this is the reason why on one hand we allow state aid. For example, for Germany, France, all the member states can apply state aid. But the other side of the coin in the European Union is that we also put up an investment program. We call it Repower EU. For those member states who do not have the financial capabilities for state aid, but get this investment program and the tax break-like manner, they can invest it in the clean tech sector.
You mentioned China. When you think about the greatest challenges to Europe today, is China number one or number two?
Well, I think towards China we should absolutely de-risk, not decouple, but de-risk. And the typical topics are the massive hidden subsidies to their Chinese companies, the denial of access to the Chinese market concerning our European companies, the theft of IP. These are all topics that we have to put on the table and that we have to discuss.
It's interesting when you think about what's been happening in Ukraine. The United States, of course, has said multiple times that they want to go after President Putin and his war machine for war crimes. Do you believe this is genocide?
Well, I think he has to be held accountable for the war crimes, and then we can see what the frame is. Important is we have the prosecutors now in place. We are collecting the evidence, and we are building the structure, the international structure, for a tribunal-type topic. Because what we need now is we have set it up, started to set it up in The Hague. We need, the most important is collect the evidence, have the prosecutors on the ground, and then build the structure internationally that fits for a tribunal.
When we think about Russian assets, it's been a sort of stop and start in terms of taking those assets and turning them into funding for Ukraine. Were you disappointed by Switzerland's decision on bank accounts?
Yes, I was disappointed. I think this is a difficult choice to put the business model at first place. Because indeed, I mean, we have to have the political will that the perpetrator has to pay also for the reconstruction of Ukraine. And whether it's the oligarchs or the Russian central bank assets, I think it's unthinkable that in the very end the international community will reconstruct Ukraine and Russia does not contribute. This is not thinkable. So we have to have the political will that Russia has to pay for the reconstruction of Ukraine.
What happens in your mind after there is a peace between Ukraine and Russia? Because we've heard from the U.S. folks that have been gathered here in the congressional delegation about the fact that there needs to be training now for Ukraine's stability after this conflict. And I'm talking about training on weaponry, like jets, for example.
Yeah. We are already in the European Union training Ukrainian armed forces. 15,000 this spring, up to 30,000 this year. Indeed, so we have to step up our military support. Therefore, I'm planning to work with the European defense industry that we scale up and speed up, for example, the standardized production of ammunition, which is absolutely needed in Ukraine, and actually to fill our shelves again too, to replenish. So all these things, yes, we have to step up because we know it's existential for Ukraine and thus for us.
President, it's great to have you on the program. Thank you.
Thank you so much.